Hey guys, welcome to our channel. So we've been decoding the agreed upon section of Bible changes, and it's been going slower than I'd like, and we apologize for that. Part of it has to do with very slow uploads at times. All right. So um, getting into this, we've gotten our letters, our 60 letters, to go through all the categories. We got them to go through finance, research groups. We got them to go through genetics. We got them to go through medical and chemicals and technology and research groups and random hits, and we come up with different stuff in random, right? Then we also did some word I did a word unscrambler with our letters and found some interesting things like psi warfare, which was kind of interesting to me. And we did some translations, but a video didn't surface from that because it was just too much to really put anything together that we could really Google a phrase. Um, just a bunch of random words that didn't really seem to go together was kind of what we got. They probably do, but I'm trying to think of the words. Very difficult without some sort of a program to make sentences out of all the translations and words, unless, I mean, the shorter ones are actually easier. Let's put it that way. These longer ones with a whole bunch of information to try to piece together is tougher to get translated phrases and phrases that you can use. All right. Um, with the shorter ones, something's either there or it isn't. Give the money to your stone. All right. Led Zeppelin one. But we're on to the numbers now. We've got the numbers. We've converted these, and I'll provide a link to numerological numbers. So we got a number code. And we've gotten these things to go forward in finance in blocks of 4. That's what we designated, blocks of 4. If they didn't go through in blocks of 4, we were going to say they didn't go through in blocks of 4 and then find out what we could get by messing with it, or not the order, but messing with the numbers, you know, the number sequences would be a good way to put that, but we didn't have to. We came right back through in blocks of 4, and I should note that, in some of the shorter ones, um, the blocks of 4 didn't go. You had to bring it back to blocks of 3, and that's what I was expecting to have to do at least once. And no, we ran right through in blocks of 4. Now, I could be, and you never know. I mean, I could designate the wrong number, and then it doesn't go through. Well, there is no exact. We don't have an exact science. We're just we had no blueprint again to do any of this, so we're learning as we go. And now I'm trying to scrutinize these a little harder, trying to say, okay, 4 first before I start. They have to go through in blocks of 4. But we're going to make a note of that, all right, because it's a long decode. Maybe some of the shorter ones will be saying groups of 3. But for this, I thought blocks of 4 were appropriate, and it goes backwards. So here we go. Your numbers are that and I'll provide the link where we extracted these numbers from our changes. But to save a whole bunch of time, you got 955 617 622 And I just brought these. These are the actual numbers, and you can pause that and take a look at it. Actually, here they are corresponded to their letters. If you wanted to see that, I ain't gonna get it. I ain't gonna go into it, but that's what you got. And we used a numerology chart you can find online. All right. So we started coming back 3226 because that's our last four number block, and you ended up with Nippon Accommodations Fund on the TYO. All right. If you move on from that, you have 2159. You end up with Full Speed Incorporated on the TYO. All right. 2595. If you move on from that, is Salimar Investments, and I found that on Market Watch. That's their number. Then if you move on from that, you have 8336, which ends up being the Mushenio Bank on the TYO. All right. That's plugging right through. If you move on from that, your next block of 4 is 3214, and you got Promer in Envisionus. Yeah, I kind of should have been following myself along. Yeah, it doesn't want to show me. All right, Promer Inversions SA on Market Watch. Sorry, that was a bit of a rough one to pronounce. Had to make sure I had it right. So then if you move on from that, you wind up with 9241, which ends up being CALL/IBEX F9241. That's Market Screener. All right. If you move on from that, you have 4121, which ends up being Ross Max International Ltd on Market Watch. Okay, if you move on from that, you wind up with 5917, and that ends up being Securada Company Ltd on Market Screener. Securada. All right. If you move on from that, you end up with 1111. That's 4 ones. You end up with Chonghing Bank Ltd. And that's on the Hong Kong exchange. I see no charts available, but it says that they are down 0.3%. All right. Well, if you move on, they can be affected negatively, right? So if you move on from that, you have 7152, which ends up being First Trust 7152 Sabrient Baker's Dozen Portfolio. All right. So there's your 7152. If you move on from that, you end up with 2858, which ends up being Yixin Group Ltd on the Hong Kong exchange. All right. If you move on from that, you got 2415, which ends up being Human Holdings Company Ltd on the TYO. Human Holdings Company, huh? I'm not really sure what that's all about. But if you move on from that, you have 5111. That ends up being Tower Real Estate Investment Trust on the KLSE. And if you move on from that, you have 7193, which ends up being FGEKLX Holdings on Yahoo Finance. It also ends up being Biosis Group, BHD, 5567. Oh, Biosys grew BHD. That is 7193 as well. Sorry, you had two hits for 7193 instead of just one. All right. If you move on from that, you have 5567, and that ends up being interest rate hedge PO on Yahoo Finance. That was your 2 for 1. Yep, Yahoo Finance, FT5567, interest rate hedge PO. All right. Yeah, looks like they're negative 0.31%. So some of these may be being poorly affected. Maybe that's another thing to look at. If they're poorly affected. But anyway, if you move on from that, you have 1655, which ends up being Okura Holdings Ltd. On the Hong Kong Exchange. And they don't seem to have any information available about them, but it's here. And so I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing. It could be very, very bad for that company. So yeah, that's always something to consider too. If they're there but they're not there, why are they not there? What happened? Why aren't they listed anymore? Possibly negatively affected by the quantum calculation. Maybe something small that escalated into something big. With a company, that could easily be the case. So if you move on from that, and by the way, I got the last 6 letter numbers to go through again, but decided that we were going in blocks of 4. So 1655 was your first block of 4 at the end, or beginning, however you look at it. Then you take 6559 as your second block of 4, and that ends up being Atelier Haruka Company Ltd. on investing.com. All right. And that literally does it. That gets you through going forwards and backwards in the stock market in blocks of 4 even. So we predetermined how many numbers we were going to run through the whole way before we ran through it. And if it didn't run, we were going to make note of that and see how they did run, see what information was there anyway. But we were going to make note that they did not run in the pre-designated way, and they ran in the pre-designated way. So there's nothing I can do about that. And that's the way that's it. So that gets you through going forwards and backwards in finance. And the next thing we'll do is bring these numbers forwards in genetics. And again, we'll pre-designate blocks of 4 and see what comes up and what doesn't come up. And if we don't make it through in blocks of 4, then that'll be duly noted. And then we'll see what information is there around that. So we're going to start pre-designating our blocks as far as these go. Now, I don't know that I'm going to pre-designate my blocks when I run our random letter sequences. I might just try to get them to go through in any way possible. The interesting thing about that is using our models that we've already done through these changes, we can predict if our random letters may or may not go through and predict if they may or may not present a pattern just from the patterns of the letters. So I think that's interesting. I think there's other things we can check that I think we will get to. And so the more we go, the more confidence I'm gaining in our method, especially when we can pre-designate numbers of the numbers to go through, the number sequences, and then they go through in that way when we're trying to see if they won't. Especially since a lot of times when we're doing a shorter code, again, if we run a block of 4, nothing comes up, and we have to back off and run a block of 3. But this is a longer code, and blocks of 4 went straight through. So that's interesting. Why is that? I don't know. I'd like to find out. We're going to work on it, guys. We got a lot of data. We got a lot of things. I got a lot of good tips from someone who's really super intelligent. And we we started running and doing some of the things he suggested, and now we're pretty much more confident than ever in our method. Um, but I think it can be tweaked. I think we can use those encryptors. I think we can get a different code. I think we should maybe run it as is and then encrypt it, and then run it again encrypted. I don't know that we're going to do that on this 60-letter one, because that's going to wind up being a ridiculous thing. But on some of our shorter decodes, I think we can definitely do that and see what happens. So um, just, again, learning as we go, guys. But the next thing we'll do is, like I said, come through in genetics forwards, and we'll see what happens with that. So depending on when this uploads, we'll see if we get to it within the next couple days. And Happy New Year's Eve, by the way, if this happens to load by now, or Happy New Year's Day if it happens to load tomorrow. So I guess I should mention that. So that's going to be it for this one. Um, got a little more to go on this, and we will get through it. So for now, guys, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your day.